The
All
Atkinson
right.
Boys.
And come on. Now my internet's messing up. Come on. All right. We going live here right now.
KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
All right, let me cut that theme song short. What's going on, my brothers?
Hey, what's up, bro?
You got it, my man.
What's going on with you?
Nothing going on but the job. Just got off work. You know,
It's
getting
all
ready to
good.
relax.
It's all
Yes,
good.
yes, sir.
All right. Sounds like a winner. Okay, everybody. This I want you guys to introduce yourselves first. Who are you? Who are you? Who am I interviewing? Who are you?
You're interviewing Doc from Atkinson.
And Tony
Who
Bond.
are
Tony
you? Say
Bone.
Doc.
My name is Doc.
All right.
Yeah,
Doc. Mac-
that's my name, Doc.
All right. Okay. All right. So we got Doc. All right.
And Tony Bond.
All right.
Tony
So
Bone.
yeah, folks, these two guys here are a couple of Tony Bones. We got Tony Bones and Doc. This is a couple of the original guys from the Atkinson Avenue. These brothers here are some of the guys that were around in Inglewood in the early 70s when all the unnecessary madness was going on in the city of LA and it kind of came to Inglewood. These guys went against that whole, the whole situation as far as gang banging and all was concerned, but they still held their own. So they were not a gang, but they are definitely some brothers, some strong brothers that just wasn't having the nonsense. Tell me what's going on, man. Tell me some of the stories and give me basically, first of all, give me a shout out of the names of the people, the guys that were on Atkinson.
Okay, we had.
List of people like Steve.
I'm not saying. I'm gonna tell you what we called each other.
Yeah, because he was here before I even showed up on the scene.
Yeah, I was there from the
All right,
jump.
that'll work.
We had Toes.
That'll work.
We had OD. We had Ty Bone. We had Tony Bone. We had Bad Luck Chuck.
Don't give him.
We had Pogie. We had Bro Stan, Fred, Twin, rest in peace, Ed and Toes. We had Brother Art. We had Brother Robert. We had Big John. We had Mark, MC. We had Bro Al. We had Dirt Don, rest in peace.
Al, rest in peace, too.
Al, rest in peace. A few others that I can't name right now. Brian, Brother Brian. Mike Pedroso. Earl E.B. No Happening Brown. We had, and one of our main homies, Jimmy James. Bro, Jimmy James. Okay.
Okay. All
man,
right.
who else? I'm old, man. But I sit there and I said OD, Art, Herschel.
Your brother Herschel, yeah.
And
that's about it, the core.
Tonsi, Terry, Jeff. I mean, Jeff was a little youngster.
And Bobby Dingo was an honorary member.
Robert Dingo, he played them drums. He was the band member.
He's a badass.
He played them drums, man. Him and McKnight and them. Yeah. We used to go over Doty's house and Greg Doty's house, and they played in the basement.
Yeah, he played with Don Summers, all kind of folks, man.
Yeah.
He's a rubber band man.
Right. Dingo was mad. I remember Dingo hit them drums, but I stayed down the street.
Talking about McKnight.
Yeah, Brian
McKnight, not Brian McKnight.
Talking about McKnight that played with
Doty. Right. He played with Clinton, but he started with Doty. Doty and them. He played in Doty's garage.
Yeah.
Right. And basically, we just had a good time, man. We just kicked back. We weren't affiliated with nothing. We wasn't, we had our ladies and we just kicked it and enjoyed. each other, that type thing. We wasn't fighting and all that unless something happened or we had to get
Right.
busy, and we would. But I'm not gonna claim nothing. I'm not saying what we did or nothing like that. But we held our own. You know, we wasn't out there. We wasn't out there like everybody else. We wasn't out there walking the street, showing signs
Yeah,
and
well, that's
all
what I
that.
was saying at the beginning.
Yeah, we weren't wearing certain clothes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We just hanging out, drinking beer and all that, just kicking it. You know, then we got involved with we had just got out the military, some of us, you know. We were together in the military. Me, Bone, Stan, Ed, and we was all together from Fort Gordon. When they went to Germany, and I stayed. I wanted to go to Germany too, but I stayed at Fort Carson, you know. And when I first found out, I called Herschel and he said, "Man, Tony, Ed, and Stan are up at Fort Ord." And I just hung the phone up and took off to go down to the reception station to see them. I said, "They up here, man. They up there with you, man." So I took off down there. I'm hollering Tony, and the first person I seen was Tony Bone coming out the barracks. And we just hugged each other like, man. And here come Ed and Stan and 2 6-packs of beer every day from that point on. Then they went to Georgia. And so I went home. Then I had orders to go to Georgia. It wasn't until I got on the plane from San Francisco nonstop to Atlanta. Oh, yeah, that's right. Ed and Tony are standing down in Georgia too, you know. And I got down there and did the same thing. I just started walking around hollering names. It was a hamburger stand on this one little long street. They had a hamburger stand on this street. And I got right there. I was like, "Tony, stand." Here come Tony again.
You right, those them goddamn hamburgers.
So we had them hamburgers. But the funniest thing we did.
So you brothers been together
from Morningside and the Army, and then after
a long time, man. So you talking
long
about
time, man. We talking about 50 years.
Even before Morningside.
Even before Morningside.
What about Monroe? What
Yeah,
about
Daryl, like, I didn't go to Monroe myself. I moved
high school
to Inglewood in the 10th grade. And when I moved I was living on Adams and Crenshaw in that area.
Okay.
And my people was mostly from like over by Normandy and 40s, in the 40s. And I moved to Inglewood. It was the first time I ever met cats that really accepted me without no bullshit. You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you, man, you know, when I first met my boy Stanley's brother Steve, which became my best friend at the time, and, you know, until he passed away, because me and Stan and Ed were pretty tight, you know, even we went through the military shit together, basic training stuff.
Right.
When I moved to Inglewood, I didn't know nothing about no gangs. I was into music. My stepfather was a musician. You know, I knew about the game on the street, but I didn't know nothing about all this clicking and stuff. I get down there, man, next thing I know, I get jacked by some cats and stuff in a 54 Chevy, and they take my waistline, they take my boots, they take everything but my fucking pants, right? And I didn't know nobody at the time, and I had just moved. I lived across the street from Morningside. You know, so there was nowhere I could go. I was living in the bottoms. All these guys are considered rich people to me, you know, because I'm from the hood, right? And but these, you know, everybody at that fucking school was stuck up, man.
Yeah,
I didn't get along with none of them. And then I met Steve, and he hit me up in the quad and said, "I'm going to the student store." I didn't know nobody. Told me he needed some change. I told that nigga, "Fuck you," and shit, because I was already pissed off with Inglewood, right? We almost got in a fight, but Stanley and Kelton and them walked up and broke it up. We wound up being ace partners.
Right.
So next thing I know, you know, I tell them what's happening, and they say, "Hey, come on, man, we got, you know, come on to the village on, you know, our street." So I started hanging out with these brothers and stuff, and I realized a lot of these niggas were the baddest niggas I ever met in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like Bad Luck Chuck, he still ain't nobody ever being able to put hands on him, including the Pup. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't even know where he at right now, but he's like I call him a living legend.
Straight out.
That boy had hands. He
could have boxed.
fucking gold medals.
He could have been in the box, man.
He had fucking gold medals.
Yeah.
And we was in camp.
You know what? I would go out on a limb and say, that Chucky probably had the best hands in Inglewood. Inglewood at the time. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say that
Him and Ed.
because I
was
seen
Ed,
this guy fight
Ed beat
more
Raymond
than one
Washington.
person at a time.
Yeah, Ed.
Oh,
He
okay.
actually, when I saw him fight Raymond Washington, the OG
Yeah.
Crip
So
nigga,
boys,
he fought that nigga so hard, his jacket came off on his arms, and he stepped back after firing on him, and his jacket fell to the floor. You know, Ed Cross is one of the baddest brothers I ever met in my life. You know,
Ed
God
took a
rest his
boxing.
soul.
He took a boxing at El Camino.
Yeah,
We used to
yeah,
go
he's
watch
just
it.
all European champion in the army.
Yeah,
Yeah, he beat everybody in Europe up.
yeah, he won all his
okay.
fights.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
I went to a couple of his fights at El Camino College.
Okay.
yeah. He was a badass man.
No,
He
Ed
worked
could
for
squad. A
Ed
few
got
people
us
found that out too.
Yeah, Ed got
A few
us
people
out
found
of
that
a
out
lot of
quick.
shit. Yeah,
Ed was just fast with them hands. He
really
was fast.
He taught
So
me.
He
between the
was real
two,
fast.
between
Him
the
and Chucky
two,
taught me.
between the,
Yeah,
But Chucky just was.
between the
He's just
two,
out
who
there.
you
Chucky was
think?
just a monster.
Who
Yeah,
you
he's
think
a monster like Mike
Who
Tyson.
had the best
Right.
hand?
Chuck, even when Chucky come outside, I'd be like, oh man,
All
here
right.
comes Chuck.
So you said Ed had better.
No, Chucky.
No, Ed was just fast.
Yeah, he was faster. Ed was smaller than
Yeah.
Chucky.
Yeah, Ed was little, man.
Yeah,
He was
well,
little.
Chucky had 8.
Ed was like Stoudemire, little dude. Ed was like Star.
Yeah, he was like shorter than me.
Yeah, Ed was
Yeah.
little, man.
But he
He
had
was
them
quick.
knuckles that
He was
knock
real
you out.
quick. He was
Yeah,
real fast,
quick.
man.
Yeah.
Real fast. Hit you 3 or 4 or 5
Yeah,
times.
he's
before
like
you know
Sugar
it.
Ray. with
Right.
jiu-jitsu.
He just hit you. He was quick with his hands and he was accurate with his swings.
Hit
You
you
know,
10 times before you blink.
he wasn't just hitting you, just hitting. He knew where to hit. He was fast.
It hurt you.
He hit that, from hitting that bag,
Right.
that boxing bag all the time.
Yeah.
He hit that bag real good.
And then Daryl, his ass was always crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Stanley wasn't no slouch either. Stanley could still get him up.
Right.
You know, I seen the first time I met Stanley, really met him.
Yeah.
It was at a rally at Morningside in the gym, and some so-called Crips came into the lobby, and certain folks and said, "We'll name them later," and a different thing. But I seen Stanley dive over a brother to beat another nigga ass. That type of thing, and nobody could touch him, man. I was like, oh. And Steve, that was my ace boon and shit, he backed me on business ventures and everything. We did a lot of shit together.
Right.
All of us, we didn't have no leader. We wasn't no gang. I talked to Daryl last night, and we wasn't no gang. We were a family. I didn't have no father at the house. Daryl had just lost his mom.
Right.
Steve lost their dad.
Right.
Chucky lost his mom. Brian lost his dad. There was just so many of us that needed male companionship, not on the level of actually getting in trouble. These brothers helped me stay out of trouble.
Right.
Because I was into music. I used to walk around with my bass guitar, just walk around with a bass guitar and a flute, 24/7. I wasn't just a regular. I was never the type of guy to wear khakis and stuff like that. I always wore like some esoteric type stuff, holes in my jeans, or I would I would paint my shoes with Mr. Natural and shit like that. I was kind of a hippie kind of dude because I had moved from the Hollywood area. I didn't know nothing about what was going on in Inglewood. But if it wasn't for these brothers, I might not have made it. Because I'm crazy. I was crazy as hell anyway. You know what I mean? But it was glad to meet some people that kept me out of trouble. Because most of my friends
Let's talk about the.
Yeah, they used to get me in trouble.
About what?
Let me ask you a question. What was the makeup of Inglewood when you guys moved to Inglewood? Was it predominantly white, half and half, mostly black? What was it?
Well, when I moved to Inglewood,
what was the breakdown of Inglewood? Was Inglewood predominantly white?
It was more white, coming from where I came from, Venice, and it was white. A lot of white people on our block, and I kind of tripped. Our next door neighbor was white, and I kind of tripped off of that. What tripped me out more was them airplanes coming over the house. That's what really got me. The airplanes come real low. They come right over the house, Inglewood. They come right over by the SoFi Stadium and all that. We lived up there by SoFi Stadium on 7th Avenue, and I tripped all these brand new bicycles, and coming from where I came from, it wasn't brand new skates. Everybody had new stuff, and cars were different and the streets were clean. And,
Yeah, even the black folks.
and
that
what
was
made me
there,
mad, see, when I came to Woodworth Elementary, I went to Monroe first. But since we moved in May of 68, Inglewood was just getting unified. And LA schools, I had to start, no, I couldn't move and start in the middle of a year.
right.
I moved in May. Either I stay home till September and start the 8th grade or go back to the 6th grade. So my father didn't, he was like, well, yeah, just stay home. My mom was like, no, you're not staying home a month. So I had to go back to the 6th grade. So me and my brother now, we're in the same grade now. See, I'm a year older than my brother, Herschel. And I had to go back to the 6th grade and start the 7th grade over. And this was already in May. So I'm ready to go to the 8th grade. Just because I couldn't stay in the house for a month. So I was hot, man. I was hot. My oldest brother was talking mess, and then I got to Monroe, and that's when I think that might have been a turning point in my life as far as getting high and shit. Because I was just hurt. I got to start the 7th grade over. I said, Mom, why can't I just stay home from May till June? It ain't but 4 weeks left of school. So I'll do dishes or whatever. I told her I'll cut the grass. I'll do everything. Just let me stay home. I don't want to go back to the 6th grade. And my father's like, yeah, he just stay home a month and then go to the 8th grade. Why you want to do that? Well, I don't want him home. He might get in trouble and all this stuff because I was. And, where I used to live, I was kind of wild, So I had to stay. That's how that happened. So when I got to Monroe, I'm in the 7th grade all over again. That's when I got on them drugs in the 7th grade. When Armando, that dude, he bought them Red Devils. It was just, and it was on. But I think that has something to do with my addiction because I was mad at Monroe. When I said, I'm in the 7th grade. Even people in Venice, where I came from, I go back, man, you're in the 7th grade again? Yeah, man, I'm back in the 7th grade because I couldn't stay home for a month, So I was, give me them Red Devils. And I started taking that. And that was I even shared that in my recovery, that might have been a turning point in my life, going back to elementary school again. When I'm already in junior high, going from one class to another, 2nd period, 3rd period, 4th period. Now I'm back to the 6th grade classroom with the folding desk that clicks 3 times and all that stuff with one teacher, with all these kindergarten people running around and all that. I'm in the 6th grade. And my cousin Steve Crane, he was just like, man, what you doing here? I said, man, I got to come back to 6th grade, man. What? I said, yeah, man, Mom won't let me stay home for a month. I got to come back to the 6th grade and start the 7th again.
They sent you back to Wood. They had you going to school at Woodworth.
I had to go to Woodworth, and I'm already in junior high. Huh?
Yeah, he was supposed to be in the 7th grade.
I was supposed to be in the 7th grade, but LA and Inglewood school districts are different. Right. LA school district runs a different program from Inglewood.
Right.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be in Monroe for that month and then go to the 8th grade. So I'm older than Herschel. Right. I'm supposed to be in the 12th grade with the class of 70. My class would have been 73 instead of 74. Right. I was class of 73 if I would have stick with what I was supposed to.
You're older than me.
Yeah, I'm a year older. I'm 70 now. I'm 70 years old.
And I'm just turning 69.
Right. I'm already 70. But yeah, that really hit me hard. That turned my whole life around with drugs. And I even shared that. That might have started because I was bad. I got to Monroe. I was getting in trouble. I got with folks. And I got, I was mad and wasn't going to class. I was mad, man. Even my brothers were mad. Like, man, Kelvin, that was wrong, man. Yeah. You should just stayed home for a month. So, but then I seen what got me. I seen this girl that was pretty, very pretty, with light brown hair, brown skin. And I just that had to be my girl. And she lived on Atkinson. That's how I got on Atkinson. So her brother, Steve.
Oh, okay.
So we became friends. Her brother, yeah. So we became friends. You know who I'm talking, the girl who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Rest in peace. And she was light skinned, had that pretty hair and all that. And I was like, man, So I became tight with Steve just to get close to her, you know, and I rode her on my bicycle handlebars from school one day, and it was on. That's how I came on Atkinson. I came on that because of the what's her name, you know.
All right.
And back then it was hardly.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it was white folks on Atkinson then too. Sure was, you know, and because half of Morningside, then they had that riot, the Morningside riot when we was at Monroe. They called it the Morningside 9, you know, and they used to have meetings at my cousin's house on the corner. Steve Crane and because his brother was in that riot, and over that, yeah, Steve's brother, my cousin, and that was a big thing in Inglewood then, right? Because that's when they said everybody, because we used to fight Inglewood High all the time, Morningside and Inglewood. So everybody on the north side of Arborvita had to go to Inglewood. Everybody on the left side of Arborvita, the right side, had to go to Morningside. When I was at Monroe, that's when that split. Because we kept fighting Inglewood. Morningside and Inglewood would always fight in football games. So they took half our athletes, Gradden and all them, Don Benjamin, Devin Cruz, all them, they all went to Inglewood now. All them, Jimmy and all them and we went to Morningside.
Right,
so,
right.
But we all meet up at Darby Park and all that, and kind of play football and stuff. We all kicked it at Darby. You know, they come to our dances, we go to their dances, you know. Then we got to Morningside, we really started kicking it. It was funny though to play football against our friends, you know, that we went to Monroe with. You know, we wasn't even tackling them. Coach took me out to the game because I wouldn't tackle Greg, but that's my partner, you know. So we just was playing and they didn't like that, you know. But yeah, that's what that was about. But that's how I got on Atkinson through Steve's sister. You know, I met her. And then I met Poggy, Ed, Daryl, stayed on the corner, and then Tybone, and the rest is history. We just grouped up and we just got more people came and we just hung out with each other. We weren't a big, we hung out more with each other.
Yeah. Me ask Tony, how did he get on Atkinson? How you get on Atkinson, Tony?
Well, I was going to U.S. Pastures in high school.
What was your introduction to Atkinson?
I'm from the west side. You know, I grew up on Adams Boulevard in Crenshaw. And I was brought up like in the Black Panther Party. You know, I was in we called them the Junior Panthers at the time.
Right.
And I was in the free breakfast program and things like that, the after school education program. So I was already kind of programmed to not like white folk much. You know what I'm saying? And I was at the Adams and Montclair shootout when that happened and stuff. And I seen, you know, the whole thing. I know a lot of activists, so-called activist people like Mahalina Karinga, and I still call them Ron to this day. You know, my mom was in the US organization, and my dad, he was affiliated with the Panthers, even though he was a musician, and he was into the gang. He was like working for this cat named Tootie Reese at the time, you know, and he was like the 4th biggest dope dealer in LA, you know, and we had all the celebrities at the house. I lived on Anderson, Virginia Road at the time, and I used to like go and be his roadie. You know, when he would do nightclubs, my stepfather played with jazz bands. And then my stepfather and my mom fell out. He became abusive because he was dealing that cocaine, and it changed his personality. We were born on the same day. You know, it's really kismet. Because me, my stepfather, Chucky, Robert Dingle, I think we were all born on the same day. Me and Robert and Chucky was born days apart. I'm telling my hours apart because we were all the same age. So we really got along. But I moved my mom, my stepfather got busted, but it didn't stick. So my mom had really, you know, she actually helped him maintain his shit while he was in jail. So they became friends again. And she had another boyfriend, but at the time she wanted to be independent. So she was working. You know, she actually at the time she had just stopped working for the police department as a dispatcher before 911, and she started working for the county because we wound up on the county for a minute. And they gave her a job. She became a social worker, eligibility worker. So she was able to afford to get an apartment, and we was in Compton at the time with, with another one of her friends and stuff. And my mom was like, no, I'm not bringing you up in Compton. And she wouldn't even let me go to Audubon. I had to bust myself to Louis Pasteur Junior. Little did I know that Gerald and his brothers went to Louis Pasteur. They went to Marvin Avenue where I went. We had all went to the same school anyway. So I moved to Inglewood and stuff. I met these cats and stuff at school. Fell out with Steve Taylor and stuff. We had a little fricas and shit. And then we became friends and they invited me down. And next thing I know, I'm hanging out, right?
Okay.
And little did I know there was going to be some stuff going on, with these gangs. Cause I didn't know nothing about no gang. Luckily for me, because I was like I'm going to tell you, as a kid, I went to a lot and I was withdrawn. So I was the kind of guy they would call, they say, here comes our lunch money. I was lunch money. And people would take my money, everything until my mom put me in karate school, Western Boulevard, and I met Richard Heath. He went to Morningside too, and Ernest Russell. They were my personal instructors. But it wasn't until I got with these cats where I actually got the fucking gumption and the balls to pick my hands up in altercations and stuff. Because I had just got jacked by the Crips and shit, Barefoot Pookie and a bunch of other cats, K.P. Robinson, a bunch of other cats, which me and Pookie actually became friends before he died for years and stuff, But we couldn't figure out why we fell out. But I got stories about that even deeper than the gang shit, because it goes beyond people think. A lot of the shit that we went through, I believe, was kind of planned. Just like, we got together and Earl Brown's mom was really cool and stuff. And she was like a mentor to everybody. And she let us give house parties. Yeah. And we would charge $2 and we would get silver satin and Kool-Aid and put it in a sparkler spot. And we became the most popular house party people in the area for like a couple of years. We graduated up. We started renting out little halls like the Consolidated Plaza and in the Jungle, things like that.
I didn't know that Ron Karinga was living on my street until you told me that was Ron Karinga. I didn't know that. He lived on my block on 11th Avenue.
It's a small world, man. It's a small, because he's from Chi-Town too.
We went to my house. Yeah, we had went to my house one day, and then we was walking down the street, and he was outside, and you said, "Hey, man, that's Ron Karinga." I didn't know who he was. I'm like, what? Ron Karinga? He said, "Yeah, Ron Karinga, man, the leader of the US organization."
Yeah, I met Ron Karinga when I was about
Inglewood.
7.
Yeah, Inglewood was a mixture of a lot of different people from a lot of different demographics. And
when I moved to Inglewood, it was still mostly white. Yeah, it was. I was like kind of used to integration because I lived off of Adams and Crenshaw. I went to Louis Pasteur, which was a totally integrated school, which is a magnet school now. They actually, I thank God for Louis Pasteur Junior High School, because I actually learned how to get my shit together there, learn different skills. And Morningside was a great school too, because they had different classes at the time, like auto mechanics and metal shop, where you can learn to weld. You could get a job. I was able to graduate Shell Oil Company manager's course in Morningside High School in the fucking 10th grade. You know what I mean? I mean, I had a job in 11 on Hawthorne Boulevard. Cleaning windows and pumping gas. That's what I like about Inglewood. There was a lot of people there, not just us, that had really advanced frames of mind on being successful. Like our class president, Danny Tabor, became mayor and councilman of Inglewood. It's a great city. If I lived anywhere, I don't live in LA now. I live like damn near 100 miles away. But if I lived in LA, it would be Inglewood where I would stay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody. It's kind of like being in a black Mayberry. You know what I'm saying? Without the goofy shit, But I love Inglewood, California. It changed my life, man. You know, but the thing that messed everything up for everybody was when the man perpetuated this gang shit and brought some drugs in and all that shit. That's what really messed everything up for our whole community. You know, because I got some stories in the future, but I just thank God that I did move to Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? And went to Morningside High School because Morningside had the best teachers I seen. I mean, Mr. Olson, everybody remember Mr. Olson, an auto mechanic teacher. He used to take us to the drag strip.
Oh yeah,
Introduce us to the redneck drag racers like Don Garless and Don Fedome and the Snake and the Mountain, all that stuff, man. We had lowriders before lowriders was lowriders. The niggas at Morningside, man, they was like lifting their cars back in the 1970s. I lived next door to this dude named David O'Neill, had a black 59 Thunderbird lifted in the back. You know what I mean? And we had our custodian was Big Willie's brother, Big Tiny, of the street races. I mean, we had it going on. We had the best athletes. Right. I remember, I'm mentioning his name, but I really, Michael Ingram was like the baddest basketball player around. Byron Scott, all these cats, we have a lot of talent and stuff, and we're some of the smartest cats on earth, I believe, because I've been halfway around the world. And I've never met people that don't admire where I'm from.
Right.
Yeah. Inglewood, what did you guys think about the movie called The Wood? Remember that movie, The Wood?
It came on last night.
The movie called
it came on last night, but I didn't see it because it was kind of late. But that's one of my favorite movies. I thought that was Monroe, but it's La Tierra. I thought that was Darby Park, but that's Rogers Park where the dances were.
Right.
But that movie reminds me of Monroe a lot. Okay. I like that movie, The Wood. It came on last night.
It's kind of like a pre-high school thing.
Yeah.
Because high school was more sophisticated than that. Those cats weren't so involved in fighting folks. And we were the first people that put hands on white folks, too.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like, I felt like when that guy in the Wood, how he moved to another city, how he became, that's how I felt.
To me.
What's that?
Yeah. When I saw the movie, I didn't like the movie, but when they showed the girl's brother that was riding in a 6'4" that was gangbanging.
Right.
The girl's brother that was gangbanging that had the 6'4", now that was Inglewood. That was Inglewood.
Right. That was right. That was right on
Chevy Club. We had the club.
Yeah, that mini mart is right there on Centinela. And right by Hyde Park.
Yeah, Tito. Remember Tito had
that scene when he's in the robbing that scene that 7-Eleven. That's that market is still there. It's right on Centinela, right past Hyde Park.
Yeah.
I passed by it all the time.
That beautiful 6'4" that he had.
Yeah, they all had them 6'4" Chevys. I had to settle for that motorcycle. I was mad, man. I was just having bad luck, man. I couldn't get things that I wanted. That I worked for.
My damn self.
I mean, I worked for. We all had them NYC jobs.
Yeah.
Keith had a 6'4", Teddy Allen, Brad, Mark Cobb, Earl Carter.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else had a 6'4"?
Ben had that 6'6".
Porky had a 6'4". Yeah. Earl Carter had the
Porky had one. Yeah,
he had the blue one. He had that blue one.
Yeah. That was the only school. That was the only school that I know of that had. That was the only school that I know of that had black kids going there that had a car club.
I know.
At school.
And high school at that. And this is in the early 70s at that.
Yeah.
Early 70s. When we didn't even have money back then.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to have a lot of money back then.
It's funny how everybody else claims to be the original lowriders.
Right.
When I know that Gumps was the first person, and he lived off of Crenshaw over there by below Hyde Park. And he's the first person I ever seen to cut out a car to put hydraulics in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, people are going to say what they say, but when you have been there, then.
But nobody was lifted, right? Wasn't nobody who had lifts?
Ben Cotton.
On the 6'5".
Yeah. And then.
Y'all didn't have lifts, did you, Keith?
I had.
They used to have Pestos and high.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I had lifts on mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did.
Porky did. He did.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Let's see. Well,
but Cobb had the coldest one, man. That's the one I could have got.
Yeah.
Cobb had the coldest. Cobb's 6'4" was tight, man.
Ben Cotton
Yeah, Ben Cotton. He,
Right.
Ben
He
Cotton,
lived-
Ben
he
Cotton,
actually introduced
65.
me
right.
into low riding and stuff because I always had love for Ben Cotton because the nigga never been stuck up.
Yeah, he was cool, like
You know,
my
he's
boy.
cool like a motherfucker. You know what I
He
mean?
came to the picnic. He was at
Yeah.
the picnic
I
last
didn't get
year.
a chance to see him at the picnic.
Last year. He came last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He came. Him and
You know, you think about Morningside. Have you ever seen another high school that got damn near Harley Davidson thing on their T-shirt?
man, I be talking to people that been saying, man, I be looking at the Morningside alumni page, and they be saying that their school don't even have nothing like that.
Yeah,
A lot of people.
ballers.
They said, man, we don't have that type thing like the Morningside alumni page, man. We
Because
don't.
Inglewood cats are always
You know.
hustlers first.
And whoever thought of that, whoever idea that was, man, wow.
Yeah.
So that page is tight.
Yeah.
Even though they tore our school, they took it from us, and I didn't like how it happened. How they just moved
They
Inglewood
might have
in.
to mess around and rename it.
You know, I didn't like how they just moved Inglewood in and painted it green. Yeah. Took the marquees down. You know,
the mono.
Just leave it Morningside
and
let the construction. Let the construction tear it down.
Right.
Don't let another school come in and tear it down.
That's the
That's what I didn't like. That's what I didn't like. You painted green and take down our marquees.
The mayor.
And then and they're getting out of there next year. It ain't like they're staying there.
Right.
So they could have just kept it all Morningside. Didn't do nothing. Just let them go back to their school. And then tear Morningside down the right way.
The way I look at it, instead of tearing Morningside down, with it being next to all the damn jobs, it's all these stadiums and everything else, they should actually build Morningside up to have a higher capacity for students and a better environment than bungalows and stuff. You know, but you know, it's just like everywhere in this country, everybody's stealing every time. Everybody's doing all kind of squirrely ass shiesty stuff. You know what I mean? How in the hell you gonna have homeless programs and people still on the street and you're getting billions of dollars? You know, how in the hell you gonna have a high school that been there since before the 70s that ain't been built up since it was brought in. Even Inglewood High School, it was a sorry building. And they're gonna build a new city hall, new police station, everything ain't gonna do nothing for Inglewood High. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not against anybody, but the thing is what you gonna do with your money? With Inglewood being a black legacy city, and my generation being the first generation to put hands on the dominant peoples in those days, and let them know that we wasn't from the 50s no more. You know what I mean? Because like Daryl told me, I talked to Daryl last night. He told me, man, we used to beat white boys up for breakfast before school, and then after school we had to deal with beating niggas up. You know what I'm saying? You know, we never had a break. During the whole time in school, every day, damn near was a conflict. But we still got our education. None of us, I mean, other than little bullshit we went through, ain't none of us did no long prison terms. We don't have a lot of criminals in our set, especially. All of us, you know, I'm the more independent one. I never worked for the government, but most of them work for the post office, work for the VA. See, Crane became a police. You know what I'm saying? All these cats, we're successful people to whatever we want. I'm a hippie, so I'm not really materialistic like that. I don't need no big ass house. You know, I don't need all that. You know, I like being away from things, so I live on top of a mountain right now. You know, I'm secluded because I got too much PTSD going on to be dealing with that shit in LA, man. You know, these people, I was out there for a year and a half taking care of my family. And I came close a lot of times. I had to regulate a whole park, Vermont Square Park. These people they stupid. The kids couldn't play. You know what I'm saying? You know, but we are regulator type peoples, the Atkinson Boys especially. But Inglewood, as you see, it's still the cleanest area in LA County. You know, that black folk live in.
Right. And that's why gentrification.
Yeah, well, gentrification.
Right now,
it's going to be gentrification, you know, because God is moving us out of these areas that he's getting ready to condemn, in my opinion. You know, because all the sinning and, you know, casinos and the Century Boulevard, Imperial Highway, whole stroll and all that, you know, Figueroa is not the only stroll, you know that. You know, we got we got trap houses every damn where. You know, we need to clean up our act. You know, as a people. You know, I mean, I can't. That's why I always like when I was even doing stuff. You know, I was more on the weed thing than the cocaine thing, because I seen what it did to some folks that I knew, and I couldn't be responsible for killing my own folk, man. You know what I'm saying? Just selling them poison. You know, and I'm just lucky that my mentality, it's not my mentality, my metabolism couldn't deal with it. I would always throw up. You know, I'd buy a bunch of shit and give it to the homies and shit after I got through, because I can't take no more. My heart stopped and all this. I couldn't do it. It was my lifestyle I had to change, because I was brought up in the gangster life, just like you was, kid. You from Chicago. You know more about that shit than we do. Y'all a different breed of nigga. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you know, for us, Inglewood, man, was like a haven for us, and like a family that we could count on to get good advice, like Daryl said. We gave each other good advice. You know, even when things went wrong, we kept each other cool. We always thought things out. That's why none of us is down on charges and shit. But we still whooped the fuck out of them.
Now fast forward.
Yeah.
You still there?
You guys
hear me?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Fast forward.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Fast forward to when Atkinson got really tight was when disco, when the Carolina West, Flanagan's, when the club scene came.
Yeah.
That's when we got jobs, got vans, and got cars, got our ladies, and we just stuck together. We didn't have nobody in our little crew, and we'd be at the parks playing them drums and going to the Carolina West. Right, we was just sitting at the park with the congas playing every day. We was down there. If we wasn't after work, we'd meet there. But on the weekends, we'd kick. We had a crowd around us, all that, you know. But then the parties, the Bahama Mamas and Venice down there. When the party scene came, that's when we really got tight.
Yeah.
That's when Atkinson really got hooked up. When the party scene, because all that negative stuff was gone now. We older now. All that old, this is way before the drug scene hit. This was everybody came to Atkinson, man. We was just a party crew.
Yeah.
We had our own apartments and stuff.
Money too.
You know, we was just having fun, man. Everybody was working and doing good and had money. And then that tidal wave came, you know, and just destroyed everything in the 90s. You know, that y'all know what I'm talking about. The 90s came and just took it. That tidal wave came and just tore Atkinson up.
Yeah.
Just bam, just splashed down on Atkinson. Yeah. Tore the whole country. That tidal wave was big too. Yeah. That was a 100-foot wave. 100-foot tidal wave came from nowhere. Yeah. From nowhere. Just bam.
Oh, I know where it came from.
Splashed down. Well, we know where it came from. Yeah. We know the you know, Washington and all that.
But I hate that we always have to be the ones that they use every single time. Just like right now, they're gonna try to use black people. Every black city, you see they're attacking every black city. They got a black mayor, DC, Chicago, they're gonna be in Oakland, LA, Atlanta. All these cities, they're talking about sending troops to all these cities, and they're doing it because they want to use black people as the scapegoat for their madness to try to hide their ineffectiveness. Because they're ineffective, They ain't doing nothing.
They're trying to hide their corruption.
Right.
These people are totally corrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Period. You know, I'm talking to people about, you know, because I got facts, I got receipts on these motherfuckers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to speak on it now. But there's not ineptness. There's not having the ability to do things. It's that they're stealing. And I don't care whether they're Republican or Democrat, black or white, they're crooks. And certain people need to get busted and need to go to jail, man. You got too many homeless people out here starving for them to have $2 billion a goddamn year in homeless funds and not use them right. You know what I mean? This is bullshit, man. You know, I mean, I was home. Me and we've all been homeless at a time. Yeah. We were lucky that we had the VA and places where we could bring ourselves back up. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the VA, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. They saved my life. I had stage 4 cancer. So I ain't got nothing to say about the VA hospital system. It's just, you know, it's got corruption in other areas. You know what I'm saying? Because some
Right.
people are good, but the majority of them, man, in this country right now is in trouble.
And I ran up in here 20 years ago.
Yeah,
I
this
ran up
country's
in
in
here
trouble now because
right from the
everybody's
county
skimming,
jail.
man.
Came
How
in
the hell
straight
can
from
you
the
be in
county.
Congress for 2 to 3, 4 years and you sleep on a couch like this ALC broad, okay? Sleeping on somebody's couch, and now the bitch worth $12, $15 million. You know what I mean? You got, you know, I mean, look at even the mayor of Los Angeles. I know I'm not a liberal or conservative, I'm an independent. I look at things with an even extent. These people are stealing, man. I know folks that are living in those buildings that they just built over in the hood. You know, and them buildings are falling apart and they ain't even 2, 3, 4 years old. You know, they don't have the
Right.
programs in place to help these folks. They sitting in front of the place hitting crack right now. You know, instead of getting counsel
Yeah.
and some help that they said, and they charge, the city paid $81,000 per unit, not per building, per unit in these buildings. Most buildings got 30 units. Okay, so imagine how much money they've been skimming, man. You're running around talking like we trying to help they want
Right.
to help everybody but us because bottom line, we God's people. Yeah, we were born,
Their
we
solution.
not African Americans. They know we're the indigenous people of this country. This is our fucking
Right.
country. We built this motherfucker.
Their
You know what I'm
solution.
saying?
Their solution. They don't really want to solve the problem. What their solution is to allow these people to kill themselves. That's why they
Right.
pumping that fentanyl and all that other stuff into
Everything else we see is
the
backfire.
areas like downtown LA, all these areas, and it's like they got say we're gonna move one drug out, but this drug they're pumping now is killing people, man, left and right. People are
They
dropping
doing
like
it on
flies.
purpose.
They dropping.
Look, the yarmulke
Yep.
wearers,
They
the
dropping.
small hats, as a homie of mine called them and shit, because I was into the conscious community. I know a lot of folks, Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed. I dealt with Tariq. Me and him didn't get along, but I'm seeing what he's doing, and at least the brother trying. He putting some work out there. You know, he from Chi-Town too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Y'all brothers out there got some brains just like we do. This is how we gonna direct all this energy we got, man. We keep killing each other. You know what I'm saying? You know, I first picked up the gun at
Yeah.
15. You know what I'm saying? I'm 68 years old, turned 69 this month, man. I want some peace. And I want before I leave this bitch, I want to see my people right as I can. You know, and stop letting us,
Yeah.
we're the generation that can stop it. Because we're the first generation. What no games and shit before us. We the first motherfuckers. Other than you boys in
Yeah.
Chicago and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all the one. You know, Jeff Ford and them
Well,
cats.
I'm happy to
You
see
know,
you brothers at the stage in life that you're in right now. I'm happy to see this, man,
Yeah.
because when we were young, we always had ideas about where we wanted to be. And you know, and then but that was the whole point. We wanted. It was
yeah,
things that we wanted. So if the younger generation now can't see past today because they don't think it's gonna be a tomorrow, they have to see us because even though we like in our late 60s and maybe early 70s, they have to realize that we survived the same
yeah,
stuff that they're going through right now. We survived it, and to be like to live to be an old ripe age is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So when they see
good
older
luck.
people out in the streets, they need to respect the older people and ask them, how did y'all do it? What did you do? How did you do it? And if they really want to know, we can tell them, hey, whatever it is you out there doing that's wrong out there in the streets, stop it. Just go on to get you a job. If you need to, go back to school. Do whatever you got to do to avoid that trap, man, because the trap is prison and the trap is drugs and death. And that's an
Yep.
easy trap to fall into. Easy. Real
It
easy
is.
trap.
Well, I think a lot of our problem is that we take it to the extreme so much. You either
Yeah.
do one or the other. You know what I'm saying? When I started working, I was still selling some bags on the side. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to put my money together, and instead of buying more dope, I was able to give me an apartment. I was able to give me a better job. You know, I wound up, I wanted to be a musician, and I went to acting school, all this kind of shit. But I'm not a part of the back doors. Shit. I'm not getting, I'm not one of them motherfuckers. So
Right.
I didn't fit in. But at the same time, I was able to stay close. So I decided, hey, I want to be an expert at chauffeuring. Got involved
Right.
with limousine services. Jew boys hooked me up because regardless how I feel about them, if it wasn't for the Jew boys, I wouldn't have got certain jobs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Especially working in Beverly Hills. I'm working at the
Right.
Beverly Hills Hotel for years and years. You know what I'm saying? They still know me up there. I can go anywhere. I can
Yeah.
walk up to any star and they be knowing who I am. I was at the House of Blues when Rick James got out of prison. Me and my ex-wife had bought dinner tickets and shit. Little did I know Snoop next door. I'm drunk as hell and smoke me some weed. I had to go to the bathroom. I come back and I wound up in Snoop section. I was like, damn, what's gonna happen, right? Because them niggas is Crips, right? And they was like, what's up, Bone? I'm like, how the hell this nigga know who I am? You know what I'm saying? Our set is legendary in Los Angeles. Not because we are the baddest, most notorious people, because we straighten things out. We never try to exert no power over nobody. We never tried to pimp no hoes. We never tried to, we got involved in that, the little dope game for a minute. But luckily nobody got busted. So we
Yeah.
good. We now everybody's straight. Now it's time for us to step up before we leave this bitch and really show these kids what's up. That's why I'm willing to get involved in this whole project you're doing. Because I think we
Exactly.
deserve, and Inglewood deserves a hell of a documentary on the real. Because all we
Right.
got is the real. And that's a movie, and them niggas was soft, in my opinion.
Right.
They wasn't locked up. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas got ran out of every time.
Yeah.
That's certain setup more inside was like that to Letterman's.
Yeah.
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 A lot of them Lettermans are some badasses too.
Yeah, they was.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I can't down nobody.
Right.
At the time I didn't like that whole set because being a poor guy from LA, living in a one-bedroom apartment, at the back gate of the high school, I couldn't avoid a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
I got left hanging a bunch of times by those cats and stuff. These are the only cats that showed up for me.
We was down, man.
Yeah,
But
respected me for who I am.
KP,
Yes, sir.
I got a suggestion.
Okay.
Let's do like a part 2 of this.
That'll work. That'll work.
You know what I mean?
And get some more cats in.
And get some more, that type thing. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
That'll work. That'll work.
We do it like
We
that.
can
This
do
is
a part 2.
this is
part
part
3,
1 right here. This is part 1. We can
do
go
as
up to
many
part 4.
As many parts.
We're gonna get different programs. We're gonna get OD,
Everybody.
Stan. This is just part 1. We're just breaking ice. This will be
I'd like to see
continued.
the screen with like 10.
We're gonna get everybody involved. Twin, we're gonna get everybody. I'm gonna hook that up. We're gonna get everybody involved and just do a 4-part series.
All
right.
Look, I'm getting ready to change the title on. I'm gonna change the title on this right now.
All right.
To
Part
Atkinson
1
Boys,
or 4.
I'm gonna change.
Yeah.
I gotta get on this freeway.
Yeah.
Part 1 and 4 of 4.
And I'll be done. I gotta
Okay.
go to the federal building myself.
Right. You gotta get over there for 5 too.
Yeah.
And this was a blessing. I appreciate
All right,
this,
my brothers.
KP,
We love you.
Atkinson, forever.
Yeah.
We was deep, but we still hanging out.
Yeah.
The ones that are with us still, the ones that are not, may God rest their souls.
Yeah.
May God bless them and their families. 'Cause we was deep.
All right. Wait, one thing before you guys go. One thing before you go. One thing before you go. In reference to, we talking about Atkinson, but a lot of people don't know the demographic of where Atkinson is actually located. Atkinson was like what, a block off Crenshaw, going to like Crenshaw. Imperial Crenshaw. Like
Atkinson was between 109th and Ardith, 1 block east of Crenshaw.
Right. Now they call themselves the Crenshaw Mafia.
Right. 1 block east of Crenshaw from 109th to Ardith Street. Around the corner from Brolly Hut Hamburger Stand.
Best hamburgers.
Right around the corner from the best hamburgers in Inglewood. Brolly Hut is right around the corner from Brolly Hut. So folks know where Brolly Hut is. They know Atkinson's right there. I might go to Brolly Hut today. I might. I might go
Yeah,
Brolly
that
Hut
ain't
before I
burger.
leave here.
Yeah.
I got to get on
That Brolly Hut steak sandwich. The Brolly Hut steak sandwich, man, is off
man. That's
the
damn.
chain.
I used to
But
get that
anyway, God bless you, Keith.
pastrami burrito.
God bless you, man. We
Yeah, God
appreciate
bless
that.
Yeah,
you.
man.
We're gonna do more. We'll do it again. We'll set it up.
I wanted you guys to come on because when I did an interview like 5 years ago with Kev Mack, and I mentioned the Atkinson Boys, and I kind
I
of gave
remember.
a
I
little
saw
shout
that.
out.
I saw that
The
video.
names of the few guys that I mentioned.
Right.
Okay, so
I remember. I
wanted
saw
you
that.
guys to come on. So I've been trying to line this up right here for 5 years
Right.
now.
Wow.
I've been trying
Well,
to get somebody to come forward.
you got part one. You got part
All
one.
right.
Part 2,
That'll
3,
work.
and 4 is on the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna holler at you, Keith, later on this season.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I'll talk to
All
both
right.
of y'all. Hey, let me ask you
All
one
right.
thing. When you come to Vegas, do you drive? Drive
Yeah.
to Vegas?
Yeah.
I got
stop
something
at
I want
South
you to
Point.
take to Tony, man. I got something I want you to take to Tony next time you come up. Next time you come up, I got something I want
Okay.
you to
I'll let
drop
you
off.
know. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Work.
That'll work.
Yep.
That'll work. It won't be. It'll be soon. Real soon.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Man.
Just about. All right,
Yeah.
KP. God bless you,
All right,
man.
man. We love
God
you,
bless
man.
you,
All
man.
right. We're gonna sign
Yeah.
out. All right. All right, my brother.
Peace, my brother.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
All right, folks. That was the Atkinson Boys, and like they said, that was Atkinson. That's Inglewood, California, which is a borderline of right by the Watergates and the IVCs. The IVCs. So they were, oh yeah, and the original Inglewood Crips. The original Inglewood Crips with Michael Christian and Wayne Christian, Steve Slaughter, and all those guys lived in that area. On the other side of Imperial was the Watergate Crips, and then across Crenshaw from them was the IVCs. So these guys were kind of stuck in the middle between a lot of madness, but they held their own. They were not a gang, but they held their own, and they were a bunch of young brothers, man, that just, was doing their thing. And I'm glad to see that they're all doing good. A lot of them, most of them, the majority of them are still around, still alive, still around. And hey, man, I'm so happy for them, And I used to go over there and hang out too back in the day when we had the 64 Chevy Club, because one of the members, Steve Taylor, was a member of my car club I had called the United 6-4s back in the day. So anyway, it's KP from KP's Video News, and that's part 1 of the Atkinson Boys, and I'm coming back with other parts here. So you know who it is.
KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
You know who it is, y'all. You know who it is.
It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's